I'm standing in line at the city hall. I've waited until the next to the last day to pay my property tax. So the line is very long and it's moving very slowly. After a while, I open a conversation with the woman ahead of me. We start talking about San Francisco and change and all of these things. She's an Asian woman, and I asked her, how long have you lived in San Francisco? And she went, one, 6 generations. I need to say this poem to remember the names of them when I count them. She only knew 3 generations, but the rest were his. She didn't know much about the 3 before that, but they were here. We talked about how I remembered when I first came, the Chinese were in a ghetto, you know. They could only live in Chinatown. They couldn't live out in the out of Richmond or the Sunset or Bayview or anywhere else. They could only live in Chinatown. That was in the 50s when that ghetto was busted open. Now they're everywhere. I'm sitting in the waiting room at Kaiser. There are only 2 of us in there, and it turns out we're sitting next to each other in chairs, backed up against the wall. She was very beautiful, beautiful, dark, golden skin. And what was particularly noticeable about her was her feet. They were the most perfect feet I'd ever seen. And she was probably in her 50s or 60s. And the feet were perfect, this golden brown, and the toes, each toe, perfectly shaped, just no bony structure visible, darling little sausages. And the nails were French tipped. I didn't know at that time what French tip was. I knew it when I saw it, but I didn't know there was a name for when you see the pedicure or the manicure where you get that little strip of bright white at the tip. Every toe was exactly the same width, the little white strip. They were beautiful. Well, I couldn't help myself. I put down my magazine and said, "You have very beautiful feet." She said, also, I forgot, they were in these beautiful high-heeled thong shoes. I mean, it was all quite an image. She said, many people tell me that. Quite modest. I think it's because I'm from Louisiana. And I worked on a cotton plantation until I was 15. I started when I was 5 picking cotton, and my feet were in the mud all the time.